So we are going to the back now. I'm going to do the same thing I did for the front. So first of all, I'll be extending my line. So I'm extending my neckline, which is also my armhole length line, to the extreme end. I'm extending my breastpoint, which is where all your darts will stop, and I'm also extending my underbust length. I'll be extending my waistline and the full blouse length line. Please don't forget that you have to measure your point. Before the video started, I had already measured my points. That's why I was able to extend my lines. So I'm going to extend the armhole length now, and I'm going to be doing the same thing I did for the other side. So you can see I'm going in to actually measure. There's nothing like using your head or something. And also, if you see what I measured 9 because I added my zip allowance, which I'm going to be ruling out soon. Also, I'm going to be dividing this into 2. So I'm going to remove half at the back. For the front we removed 1 inch, but I'm going to be removing ½ inch from the back. So the same thing I did, I'm going to use my French cuff to align and draft out my armhole. So from the neckline will point to where we took out the half, and it also has to align with the shoulder. So until you get it, you keep turning your French cuff. These 3 has to align. So this is how it's supposed to be, and voila. So I've done that for my armhole. Then I'll be drafting out my neckline for the back, which is 3. I told you guys at that time. So I'm going to come down by ½ inch also at the back for my shoulder slant, and I'll be going up. Then the next thing I want to do now is, you can see it looks just the same. I'm going to mark out my zip allowance. I already did it for the upper part, so I'm going to mark it out on the other side so that I can rule it out. So if the person is not using a loop or eyelet, you obviously have to do a zip allowance. Zip allowance is usually 2 inches standard, but I'm using 1.5 here because this is not an actual like drafting pattern. I'm just drafting this pattern for this class purpose, and I didn't want to extend. I wanted it to be side by side so that you can actually understand and see the difference. Also, so now I'm going to do my nipple to nipple just the same way I did, because that's going to be where my dart line is going to come from. Remember, our nipple to nipple was 6, so we're going to use 3.5 because I've added ½ inches as my allowance. So I'm going to rule that out, and it's going to be looking like this. So after connecting my dots to form a line, so the same thing I did to the front side, don't forget, I want to get my neckline now. Normally the neckline for the back is usually just like a V, a curve, anyhow you want it, but particularly the most popular neckline is this one that I am done. So I'm just going to go and curve the back. So after doing that, I'm going to now go in and now do my darts. I want to manipulate my darts, so I'm going to take out I'm taking ½ inches out. Please pay attention and notice this thing. If you are working on a plus size, you're advisable to take in more so that the curves can show. But because she is not on a plus size and she has a very slim body, so now I'm going to connect from that back to my breast point. There's no boobs at the back, so obviously the back is not going to look like the front. No. So I just need to give it a dart, and that is how we take our dart. So also pay attention to this. There at this point there, when we are doing measurements, you have to be very, very, very careful with this part. You don't want it to be too wide, and you don't want it to be too loose. So while doing this, you're supposed to take out 3 inches from there, and you're supposed to take out 1.5 from the down, 3 inches from the upper part and I'm going to take out 1.5 from the down part. But because it's going to look so small, so I decided to take 1.5 from the upper part and not take anything from the down part. Please pay attention to this. I did not take anything from the down part, but I took out 1.5 from the upper part. But I'm going to do my dart manipulation that I'm going to return it back to the side. Remember, you're supposed to take out 3. You know that V that we usually have at the back. 3 at the upper part, 1.5 at the lower part. But because this is going to appear small, which is why I'm going to do my dart manipulation, I will now transfer 1.5 I had at the upper part. You see, this is 1.5 here. I'm now going to take that 1.5 to the side. For example, I already did my measurements for, you see, my measurement is like, let's say 10. My measurement for the waistline is what? Waistline, I think, is 9. My measurement for the under bust is 9, and my full blouse hip is 10. So I'm now, watch this very closely. I'm going to align this dot, but I'll be adding back that 1.5 I took. You know, normally from that V it's supposed to be 3 at the upper part, 1.5 at the down part. But because it's going to be very small, so I'm now transferring the 1.5 from that side to the side now. This is the actual measurement here, but I'll be adding that 1.5. You will see that coming up. That's what I'll be adding next. And also, when you are drafting, there's no straight form on the human body. We have something very round, so you have to be very, you can see what that looks like. So now the one, and remember that place I told you about, so there's still remaining 1.5 from there to give us 3 Abby. So I'm going to now add back that 1.5 here. Do you get? Yeah, add back the 1.5 here, there, add back the 1.5 all round, so to the full blouse length. I'm going to add that to the full blouse length. So this is, now I have to align it. This one, I'm not dotting the lines. This is the actual measurement taken. I'm not dotting the line because this is that dot. Remember, for the first one I said we're not taking it out because normally I'm supposed to remove something from my corset so that I can snatch properly. So do you understand? If there's any question, please ask at the end of the class. So this is the end of me adding my 1.5 back to the entire corset body. If your curve is not giving you what you want, turn it to the desired shape that you want till you get where it's going to give you your perfect. So this is what you're going to have. So this 1.5, the remaining 1.5 I took from there, and the remaining 1.5 that I was supposed to take from the down, I transferred it back to the side. So that was my dart manipulation. So you do the same thing you did at the down part. I'm going to give my curve. So I'll use my ruler to curve that out. And there's also something very important that we're supposed to do. So you are supposed to extend the line to the extreme end. So you label. Make sure you label. Make sure you do your proper label. So now I'm going to I'm going to do my dart manipulation here. I'm raising 2. If you're having plunge on the zip area, like you know that place that is always plunging or your zip is bending, this is how to eliminate it using this dart method. So while we're cutting and drafting, we also learn how to do that. So I removed my 2-inch from there. Now I'm going to do my slant. So I'm going to do my slant from this side. If you're adding a zip, you will still do that to that place because you need to remove. If you haven't have it, because that place normally you don't remove anything. That's why if you measure your half length from the back, you get like 14 or 15 instead of getting 17, 18. Do you understand? So to eliminate that plunge or that bulginess, this is how to eliminate it. So when you are cutting out, you cut out. This is going out. This is going out. This is going out. This is your yoke. This is your back yoke. Your back yoke can be as low as how you want it. So if I say I want to make it very low, you can do this. Make it very, very low.
That's my point. So if your dress is not a full bodice, for example, half corset, this is where you have your half corset on your waistline. On your waistline, that's where you have your half corset. So this is where we're having. Any questions? Yeah? So